So if you've been watching this channel for quite a long time, then you will know that I did have a bioactive enclosure for my corn snake a long time ago, but it just didn't work out. But I'm trying again, not giving up, and hopefully this time this should work out. So setting up this enclosure was basically the same process as setting up my bearded dragons enclosure, which I did the other week. So if you want to see how to build an enclosure like this, then a little link will appear in the top right hand corner of your screen right now, and you can check that out. And in that video I show you how to set up an enclosure like this, but right now I'm just going to show you the setup, and then I'm going to talk a bit about some future plans. So like in my bearded dragons enclosure, I used Earth Mix Arid from Arcadia as the substrate here. You can see on the left hand side that is covered with leaves and bits of moss. However, I didn't have quite enough, so I am going to have to get some more at some point. Really, I'm just going to wait until the trees outside start shedding their leaves. I'll probably boil them or something and then chuck them in here. There is sort of a bit of a burr patch right around here, and I'm not too happy with that, so I am going to get another piece of cork to throw in there. But basically this entire setup is based around providing opportunities for my corn snake to explore. Because if anybody's ever kept a corn snake, then you will know just how much they like to climb about. So I made sure that these cork branches here, these are quite high up, suspended above the floor. They're just like resting in the soil, and they're quite sturdy. You can't like knock them or anything, so that'll allow them to climb. And then the leaves provide a nice burrowing opportunity as well as the soil itself. You can also see that I do have two live plants in this enclosure. They're both the exact same type of plant, Sansevierias, and I did, if you can cast your minds back, have these exact same plants in Red's previous bioactive enclosure, and they weren't doing too well in there, and I did take them out and put them in pots, and they have grown quite a bit since then, and I've put them in now. And instead of adding Red, the corn snake, into this enclosure straight away, I am going to leave it about 3 weeks from now just to grow in and everything, and then I'll do another video adding him. So hopefully these plants will have a bit more time to settle in and get roots established so that you won't just knock them over. So for anybody who is new to the concept of a bioactive enclosure, it basically means that you're trying to create something that's as close to nature as possible and is self-cleaning. And by self-cleaning, I mean that you've got a clean-up crib of little organisms that go around and eat the waste of your animal. In this enclosure, because it's going to be so dry because it's for a corn snake, I have opted to use mealworms. I've chucked those in the substrate, and hopefully they should get breeding and settled in and whatever for the couple of weeks before we put Red in, so that then by the time he does go in, it should be really settled. Now, I did say that this enclosure will be quite dry, but I'm not going to make the same fatal error as I did that the last time I set up a bioactive enclosure for Red, and that was letting it get too dry. So basically I let the substrate go completely dusty and dry, and that I think is what majorly spelled doom for that setup. So this time I am going to be spraying it down a bit, and I'll see how that goes and report back to you. I think it should do a lot better this time. And more to the point, this enclosure is actually 5 feet long and 2 feet deep and 2 feet tall, versus Red's old enclosure, which was 4 feet long, just over a foot tall and just over a foot deep. So this is far bigger, and he's not going to have as much opportunity to just destroy the stuff, glass dancing or whatever he was doing in his smaller setup. And just in case anybody's wondering, the lighting on this setup is a 3 foot long Arcadia T8 7% output bulb, so that should do Red just fine. It's a slightly higher output than he used to have in his old setup, but obviously this enclosure is much taller, and as UVB intensity drops off with distance, you want to go for a higher output bulb the taller that your enclosure is. Now, I think it's all well and good going through this enclosure, but really there's not that much to see because basically it's just an empty cage still at the minute. So I also want to do an update on Char the bearded dragon, who's in the adjacent enclosure. So after 3 weeks of being in quarantine, I thought that it was about time that Char could go in his bioactive enclosure. It has grown in quite well. I'll show you in a sec. Some of the plants have sent up new shoots from the base, which is really incredible because it's only been set up a few weeks. But Char, again, he has I think he's just eating something. It's probably a woodlouse. That's part of the cleanup crew. But anyway, he's only been in here about 24 hours, so he is really settling into his new setup still. This is the cold end, and he has just been hanging out here all day, which is why his colours are pretty rubbish. Down the other end is his hot zone, and I put him in there to start with, and it's kind of funny how much the colours change depending on how hot they are. So right now he's really quite dull, there's lots of greys in there, his pattern's actually standing out a lot, but when he was at the other end the other day, he was a complete bright orange. From this angle here, if you just cast your eyes right where I'm pointing, that is completely new growth from this big snake plant, and there's a couple of little bits around the bottom as well, and some of the other plants have sent up other stuff. So this enclosure is doing quite well, and I will do a bit of a bigger update at a later stage. But right now I do just want to take the moment to talk about something new that I've set up. So you may recall in my 1,000 subscriber video, which I'll leave a link to again at the top right hand corner of the screen, I did talk about setting up more social media pages, and I did decide to set up an Instagram account. It's JTB_Reptile, so if you want to go and follow that, then be my guest. I'm posting images every couple of days, and I'll be doing like sneak peeks to videos and stuff, so if you want to see that, then do go and check it out. So the last thing I've really got to finish off by talking with in this video is what is going to be going on with the rest of the new reptile room. So the reptile room is filling up quite a bit. As you can see, we've got Red's enclosure here, and then all the way down here we've got Char's enclosure. Down here we've got all the storage. We're going to be making some doors for this. That's not finished, so don't worry about that. But then up top we've not got anything at all, and there's lots of space here. So this reptile room really is not finished whatsoever. I will talk about this more in the future, but Speckles, the leopard gecko, will be coming out here as well. He's going to sit on top of Char's Viv, but then we do have space all along here. So more enclosures are definitely a possibility, but for now, Char is set up here, and Red will be going in here in the near future. So now I've given you a bit of an update on the new reptile room and what's going to be happening with it, and I've showed you Red's new enclosure that you'll be going in the near future. So I do hope that you really did enjoy this video, and if you did, then please leave a like and do subscribe to my YouTube channel to see updates on all this stuff in the near future. And if you want to check out my Instagram account, then there is a link to that on my channel, and I'll stick one in the description somewhere as well. But anyway, I hope that you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.